Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Welcome to this live stream. Welcome to the SME Show. We've now got a name, and previously it was just SME relief updates and all sorts of funny things. So to keep everybody up to date and what the options are and where we are and all that kind of stuff. But then we decided, listen, we want to take this to the next level, and we really want to share with you a lot more valuable insights and guests and all sorts of things that will help you in your business, and that you can see, there's a lot of people also fighting through this pandemic at the moment, but also we want to continue with this way beyond lockdown and way beyond the whole pandemic issue that we're sitting with. So yeah, really, really excited about that, and just happy to have you all with us this afternoon. Thank you very much. This show is usually at 11 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday, but we had to postpone this today to 3 p.m. Because I had other engagements on. But normally the show would be at 11 a.m. on a Wednesday, and we'll see as we go along, what day will suit you best, what time will suit you best, and we will adapt to move into that. So today I'm very, very excited. I'm once again joined by Ida. So Ida, welcome to the show once again, still on the farm.
Still on the farm, hiding away.
So yeah, and today Sunette can't be with us, unfortunately. She has other prior engagements, but next week she'll be back. And we've now had 3 good sessions, Ida. I think we've been talking, the initial one, obviously, we had a lot of interest in that, and we spoke about all of the measures that's available, but particularly we focused on TERS and the UIF things, and then also from a legal labor perspective, sort of what we will be, what employers need to look out for and what they can and can't do. And we've moved on from there, doing some updates, and now we're excited to bring some more stuff to everyone watching. So thank you for your time. I appreciate it. Thank you for being with me again this afternoon. And let's start off with, are there some updates? What's the latest? What's happening? It feels like I'm over to you in the field there on the farm. So what's up?
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Good news is a lot of people received their TERS benefits, and they've also now in the meantime received the schedules on how to distribute the benefits. So the process is working. They're getting follow-ups, they've made payments, and they're going on to the second leg of this and now reapplying for the second payment. So that's good news. I'm happy it's working. There's been some improvements. The website seems to be a little more stable. So I'm happy with that. Further than that, there's Department of Tourism that's still in this battle in court regarding how they're going to disperse their relief funds. Then the SARS Commissioner, Edward Kieswetter, actually yesterday sent out a media release on all the updates and all the things happening with SARS. And our newest and biggest hurdle now is, how does the pay-as-you-earn deferral work and how will it be applied? So because our first pay-as-you-earn deferral is actually on the pay-as-you-earn returns being submitted by tomorrow. And then he has also given some details on how the filing season for employees and employers is going to work for the rest of the year, and given some deadlines regarding that.
Okay, is there a change in tax season? Is it still going to run from July until December? What was it, October, November usually, and then provisional taxpayers, individuals have got until January to submit. But is there any changes?
There's a few changes. So from the 15th of April up until the end of May, employers have to do their normal pay-as-you-earn reconciliations, get the IRP5 submitted via EasyFile and e-filing. Then from June to August, it's updating of tax files. So you need to check your bank account details, check your address changes. The new auto assessment thing that started featuring from last year is going to start rolling out, and you can then either accept or not accept, and if you don't accept, then you will fall into normal filing season. And then SARS has committed to all third non-complying parties. They are going to start chasing up and have criminally charged all of them. Then from September to January is our normal tax season, where our individuals start submitting their tax. It's broken down into sections depending on if you're provisional or non-provisional, but it's a little later than normal and a little shorter than normal, but here we are. The reason behind it is the government needs taxes. They need the funding to fund all the relief measures they've put in place.
Yes, and I think there's, it's great to that they need to fund all of that, and then we're not paying. We can help withhold a lot of the pay as you earn and those kind of payments, which is going to put pressure on the system, And
Yes.
I'm sort of concerned about like when we get to the end and now what, because we still got to pay, and we said this last week as well. If you can stay up to date and you can pay 100%, then try and do that. Because I think we as businesses are going to be under pressure to make up those payments, even if they give us 6 or 8 months to pay that. It still has to be paid. It's not a discount on your pay as you earn. And then from that point of view, for them to collect that money, what's going to happen? I don't know what's going to happen if businesses don't make it through this, but they've withheld some of these payments. It's a huge risk that they're taking. So I don't think they made that decision lightly.
No, they didn't. I think they had to take in various factors. I mean, Stats South Africa has released a big list of all the statistics stating that 42.5% of SMEs are not going to make it through this period. They're going to start shutting down because they're not going to be able to fill up all the holes. A lot of people have already applied for the loan relief, but that is just increasing debt. And I mean, if we're heading into a recession as big as they are projecting, there's not necessarily any certainty that you will be incurring that amount of income to pay that debt. So it's a very, very scary and uncertain time. So my suggestion is, if you don't need to defer, don't defer. Try and push through. I know it's hard, and it's just try and get there. It's the only way.
Yeah. All right. So so is that all the updates? I know people have been receiving their TERS payments, and it seems like that is going well, and the system is better. And now it's the second round of applications. So is that second round of applications going to be quicker and easier? It's just here's the proof that I did pay, and do people know who they must pay? What must be paid to who? Do they already know? Because that was a big problem last week.
That was a big problem last week. They fell outside of the timelines as they had agreed in their memorandums of agreement when they applied for TERS, but it was not necessarily their fault. It was because of the TERS system lacking in sending out the schedules on stating who gets to pay what, and there was big confusion because there was also the release of a notice stating that the benefits were calculated incorrectly, so nobody knew what was going on. And in the end, it was literally said, if you were paid 3,000 Rand for whoever, you pay that person 3,000 Rand. They will recalculate and correct with second and third payment. Second and third payment, we've got no exact guidance on exactly how it's going to work. If you have done the online application, that system will guide you through it, and you will receive, you have to invoice and you have to send the proof of payments and the pay slips of the employees that you've paid for first payment to qualify for second payment.
Okay. Well, at least people got their payments. I think that was the big thing where people were worried that how long is these applications going to take, and they are in fact getting their money quite quickly, it seems. It's just like now we sit with the money and now what's next? So I think last week we said, just pay the minimum national or the national minimum wage at least, because that's the minimum that the people should get. Yes. And then as soon as one knows, then we can move on from there.
And just
so that's
keep
awesome.
Record of what you're doing. That's it. Keep record of what you're doing. I say the main thing is also to keep record of what you are doing.
Yes. Okay. 100%. That's good advice. Then, so I'm excited. I mean, it seems like it's all doom and gloom, which it's not. That's not what this show is about. So we obviously want to focus on the positive things and where we're headed and things that are in our control. And that's why I'm very, very happy and excited today to have 3 small business owners with us today that's going to share their story, about like when they started their businesses, tell us a little bit about it, how they've been impacted by the pandemic right now and the lockdown specifically. What have they decided to do, how it's working, and what do they see where things are going? And you'll see that they are in 3 different industries. I think two of them are sort of overlapping in some way. But then there's one that's really been like, everybody's been hit by this, but there's one person that's really been like, I mean, if you could choose an industry where you want to challenge yourself, then that was that one. So it's going to be really an exciting afternoon to listen to them. I'm going to talk to each one of them separately. So I'm not going to do a bulk interview with everybody together. So I'm going to talk to them, and I see everybody is in the room. I'm very excited to have them here. So I'm going to start a little bit early with Ahmed. I hope Ahmed is ready for me. It seems like it. So I'm going to add Ahmed here to the stream. Good afternoon, Ahmed. Can you hear me?
Yes, Francois, I can hear you clearly.
Awesome. Ahmed, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us this afternoon.
You're most welcome. And thank you for having me on the call.
It's a pleasure. I really look forward. I've never met you in person. Ida knows you. So, any friend of Ida is a friend of mine as well. So thank you very much for being here. So I want to start off with just sort of maybe asking if you can give us a brief history of your business. You've got quite a long history. You started back in the 50s, if I understand correctly. But can you just give us a brief history of your business, where you started, where you are today? What is it that you do in your business?
Yes, most definitely. The business started in the year 1955 as being a general dealer. And then in the year 1960, we added some stationery and school gear to the business. This proceeded right up to the year 1988, and this took a drastic turn and changed over to a hardware construction type business. From then onwards, we've been in this industry, and fortunately, many opportunities have opened up for us. We, in that duration of time, right up to now, managed to open approximately 8 to 10 hardware construction businesses within the greater Johannesburg region.
Wow.
What was important for us during this time is that we were able to service most of the local businesses, as well as people within the township areas. That's where we focused most of our business acumen towards. We started trading from an area near Soweto called Kliptown, and seeing an opening coming up in the Vaal Triangle, we opened there in 2014. With regards to the TERS, we have managed to claim some of the funds within the TERS area, and we are utilizing that funds to pay our employees so as to retain them and keep them within the group structure that we do have. We don't want to lose any employees for that matter.
So have you managed to keep all your staff?
Yes, fortunately we have. And
Wow.
And during these trying times, that's the most important and key factor that we need to look towards.
Absolutely. I believe if you look after if you are in a position, because some of these things are just outside of your control, but if you are in a position that you are able to look after them and put their interests first and be able to keep them, and try not to reduce their salaries, if you are fortunate enough to be able to do that, I think the equity that you buy and the loyalty that you buy through that and through really looking after your employees is going to stand one in good state for a long time to come. Do you feel the same about that?
Yes, I do. And this is the most important factor with regards to retention of staff. And we value their honesty and integrity with regards to their loyalty and staying with us and going through these tough times together.
Yeah. And that's also, if you ever wanted to build a team or lose a team, I guess this is the time to do it. I want to ask you, I know you've done some interesting things, because obviously when the lockdown came, that impacted definitely the building industry quite significantly. If you're not allowed to sort of do business, or people are not allowed to go and do construction, etc., or people can't come and visit your store, I mean that must have had a huge impact on you. If you've got so many businesses across Joburg and then in the Vaal Triangle as well, what has that impact been first of all, and what have you decided to do?
Yes, fortunately. So what has happened is you tend to use up some of your reserves. That's the first point that you look towards. Secondly, you look at some relief funding that you probably will get from government or elsewhere. Thirdly, one of the options that are available is the grants and loans that are at the reduced rate. But most importantly is to try and keep your expenses and keep yourself to the as low as you can. Now, in our business, the two most important factors is the salaries that we need to settle, as well as in some of the instances, rental agreements. Fortunately, many companies were looking, or the landlords that we do rent from have given us the liberty to look at reduced rentals, or in times no rental during this period. So that helped. So our major factor was the salaries. Your cleaning, that falls away during this time. Your rent, electricity, and telephone also becomes quite minimum. So basically, it's just more your employee factor that you need to work towards. And like I said earlier, if you can retain your staff and keep them happy during this period, that's the most important thing for us.
Yeah, that's great. So what have you done? Because I know, I mean, you're a brick and mortar business, so people come to you and they want to buy hardware, and I don't know what else you're selling, but I mean, what have you done now? What have you decided to do? Because I heard you got some inspiration from Pick and Pay and the like, so what have you decided to do, and what is
yes, okay, so thank you. During the level 5 lockdown, we were able to send essential items. So those are basically your plumbing, electrical. For example, let's say a geyser goes, or some of your power, you have a power outage, or some problems with your power in your vicinity or in your house, then we can assist you in getting that plumbing and electrical to you, and you can then fix the necessary to continue during this lockdown time. At a level 4 state, because we form part of a EST group, we are now able to trade and sell most of our hardware items. So those are the two things during this phases. One very important factor during this time is when we were at not trading, we had the time to set up a website and do completely an online portal where we can sell during the level 5 essential items, and now selling everything online, which gives us the visibility and to have physical presence as well as online presence. And this was important for our business to take it to another level with regards to gaining further customer and market share. We found that by marketing ourselves this way, we were able to recoup some of our losses, as well as keep our customers happy. Because customers now, as an online store, can log in, buy what they need, and have those items delivered to their doorstep during a lockdown time, which makes a big difference. Because they can't travel, some of them don't have the necessary permits, and there are lots of restrictions that don't allow you to be able to do a face-to-face transaction. So I think companies, where possible, need to look at these kind of avenues to be able to give them the edge over and above everybody else.
Yeah, and I want to ask you maybe a little bit of an unfair question, and it's amazing. Look, I'm from the financial services industry. So even there, we said, look, I mean, South Africa has caught up 3, 4, 5 years of what they've been behind in terms of technology, if you look at other countries. And this has now sort of forced you to go that route. Why haven't you gone that route before? Because, online stores and e-commerce and that has been available, and it's been working for quite a long time. What has kept you from doing that previously? I mean, what is the reason, or was your customers not interested in dealing with you that way previously? What has changed?
No, I totally agree. And the most important thing was time. I can't say that I've been too busy to do a thing like this, but once you're in the business, your hands are tied. I mean, you 8 to 5 busy with clients, and you're busy trying to sort out and put out fires on this side. You don't have the time to actually really, put your mind down to getting your items onto an online portal, and it's time consuming getting everything in there. That's the biggest challenge. Setting the site up itself is not that difficult, because you can link it to a PayPal, and those things don't take long. But the challenge actually is putting your products onto the portal itself. That takes time. So I think you can also blame it on laziness, and you can. I agree, and definitely. So at any point, focus on your R&D. That's important, I hope that answers it. Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome, Ahmed. I like to hear stories like this, because they say that necessity is the mother of invention, and it's also sometimes the motivation we need. But I think what's standing out for me from this is that suddenly you had more time, and you sat down and you said, like, how can I make the best use of my time? What can we do, one, to sort of still reach our customers and service our customers? So that's the one thing that stands out to me. And the other thing is that you didn't go and sit and now watch Netflix or just spend time with the family, or you said, well, I'd never have time for this. It's always been in the back of my mind, but this is now the time maybe to do it. And then a month later, you were able to do that. And what has the response from your clients been?
Fortunately, it's been good. I can say we would like to have had more sales through the online portal. But otherwise, I think as a startup, we've been, it's early days, and marketing ourselves and getting ourselves out there to other areas that we don't have physical structures is important to us. And when we opened during the level 4 lockdown, when this period opened, we were relatively busy, because people had time to sit at home and say, let's do this. And it gives them the opportunity to enhance their lives, if that helps.
Yeah, that's awesome. Just lastly, a question for me is that are you going to grow this online portal and make that a bigger part of your business now after this, whenever after this may happen? And where to from here, Ahmed?
Okay, my wife is here and she's got a good understanding of the business. I'm going to leave her to answer that question.
That's awesome.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm well, and you?
Having us on.
Great.
Okay, I don't have a language skill. I talk basic English, so if you understand what I'm saying.
And we follow you, no problem.
Okay, so we've been relatively on familiarity with our customers and loyalty to our customers. That's how our company has worked, and finding the niches when in hardship, like if a trade stops to start a new trade, we weren't scared to head in a new direction. As you can see, like we wrote in our beginning when we changed to stationery from general dealership, and then the drastic change into the hardware because we've seen the openings where and what. So for that reason, we're thinking this, we're hoping that the online will catch on, and we want to in future grow our business via online, because there's lots of townships and poor areas where people can't have transport to get to the major cities to get what they need. And internet being so freely available to most people, it would be through the loyalty of our customer who comes in, hey, your mother lives in Lesotho or your mother lives in Limpopo, but she needs stuff. Why don't you tell her to go online, get her requests? And you know what? We can get a courier guy and we can send it down. We're not going to kill her on the charges, but at least she's going to get what she needs. She doesn't have to take time to come into the town. And if she's got youngsters who can access these sites for her, so they open themselves up to avenues to help their communities. One guy needs a phone in a township and he can, or a rural area, the mountains, he can help his own community by getting the goods what he needs via us, via the online. So we're looking at it in the broader spectrum.
Oh, that's amazing. Guys, but well done. I want to congratulate you for not sitting on your behinds and not doing anything. You're taking the bull by the horns, and good luck to you. Thank you very much for the time that you spent with us this afternoon. I deeply appreciate it, and I wish you only the best.
You're welcome, and thank you for a lovely show.
Thank you very much. Ida, is there anything you want to say to Ahmed?
No, I just want to say thank you very much for sharing your story. It's quite inspiring to see how you can change things around and how you can think out of the box and actually sort of save your business and create opportunities for other. Like your wife said, I mean, one guy with a cell phone in a village can create a whole business for himself if he just thinks broader.
Yeah, that's amazing. All righty, good stuff. Ahmed, thank you very much, and to your wife as well for joining us this afternoon, and we'll hopefully chat to you again.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay.
Bye.
All right, so my next guest, she started her business formally in March 2019. Before this, there's a whole story. I'm going to let her share her story with you. But she started the business formally, really in a formal structure and everything from March 2019. And this is sort of, you'll see with my next two guests, is that they started their businesses last year. I think one of the biggest things is that you start your business, it starts going well, or it flies from the beginning, and then suddenly something so outside of your control happens just as you really get into, you gain some momentum, you do some things. So my next guest on the SME show this afternoon is Izel. Izel, good afternoon. Goeiemiddag. Welcome.
Hello, goeiemiddag. Hi, everyone. Nice to meet you.
Stuff. Nice to have you with us. Thank you for, again, taking the time. We appreciate it. So Izel's business is called Sthetics, but I'm going to leave it to Izel to sort of tell us a little bit about the business. So tell us from the time, like just a little bit like your history, and then how you got to start your business, and then, March 2019 and up until the lockdown, what happened, and then we'll move on from there.
So thank you for having me on the show. I think that the story of Sthetics is really inspiring to a lot of entrepreneurs out there, especially during this time right now. And I was taking the first week of the epidemic, I actually took some time and I revisited how did I start and those early stressful days. When I started the business, it was kind of, I fell out of sorts with my employer then, and I basically was forced into a position where overnight I needed to register a company name and start. I had 40,000 Rand in my bank account. I didn't know where and how. I was busy with one design project. The moment that funding came into the account, I went and I looked for the best PR marketing agency in South Africa. If you've got a small business right now and you are concerned about where are your business going, even if I know that we're all saving money and we're thinking salaries and we're thinking this, but invest in marketing. And that's because the perspective of reality is more real than reality itself. So very quickly, I knew that I needed to establish Sthetics brand. And I did that in 2 months. In 2 months, I basically got the first little bit of money in from interior design, because that's what we do. We do interior design and now full turnkey architecture as well. So exciting things, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that. But yes, I took 30,000 Rand. I invested it in a 6-month marketing campaign. In that time, in the space of being open for 4 weeks, I was in the Citizen. I was in various magazines. I was on various radio interviews, Metro FM being one of them, and just pushed this brand. And then I ensured that in terms of my Facebook presence, my Instagram presence, everything was extremely clean cut. If you go on Sthetics or on my name, there are no photos of me having a braai with friends and a wine. I use that time to market my business, and my personal life I then keep to myself. But that's the thing. If this is your best business tool, it's your best business tool, and that's what I had, and it was a success. And then thereafter, Ida, God gives you wisdom. I then knew that I needed to get an accountant. I went and I sat in 1 or 2 stage accounting seminars, and I needed like that the longest 8 hours of my life. But I quickly learned it because that's the one thing that we as entrepreneurs we think, okay, well, I've got an interior architect degree, and I know the industry. I'm like, cut the ball. That's 15% of your business. The rest of your business is marketing strategies, financial strategies. What are the ethos? It's more than just the product that you deliver for your business to be successful. Like putting away, not living over your means. So yeah, that's the idea of Sthetics.
Okay, yeah, so that's amazing. So obviously after all of this marketing and really getting going quickly, I mean, it went well, right? If I'm not mistaken, it's been going really, really well. And then the pandemic hits. So did it hit you? Let me first ask you that question. Were you impacted, or your business were you impacted by this?
It was difficult in the sense of, this is what happened. I had 2 projects that I needed to deliver in terms of construction at the end of April. And then having clients have had paid big deposits in, and then being responsible for that money that has been paid into accounts, and then giving that deposit, paying it over to other contractors. So for the first week, it was just, again, God gives you wisdom. It was ensuring that speaking to my legal team, speaking to my financial team, finding, terminology that I didn't even know existed, force majeure, which I know now what it means. There's no such thing as a non-refundable deposit. Literally getting the lawyers to pay, having contractors pay deposits back into trusts, and then arranging for that money to be released again once the pandemic passes. So just being, and I know that everybody right now, I spoke to clients, and clients are like, yes, we've got a gentleman's agreement. We don't want to bring legal teams in. It sours a relationship. It's almost just a thing where you are put in a position where you have to now think about this, because my intentions, your intentions can be as good as they are. But at the end of the day, if you've got 50 staff and you started going into my deposits, quality is either going to be compromised or you are getting liquidated. One of the two, if you didn't make some sort of arrangement prior. So that's basically how we've been dealing with the pandemic. But in the same sense, we've also been there for our contractors. We follow up every second day with them. We've put out various support for them. I know I've given Ida's information to all of my contractors. I've also given my legal team. I've said to them, please contact them. We also have a help support system in place for factories that can't be open, but other factories that are open now for essential services. So I hope that answers your question. We are trying to, from our Sthetics side, we're fine, but we're just trying to make sure that our contractors are fine and our clients.
Yes, because that's the thing. We work in this community, and we work in this, everything's flowing, everything is connected. It doesn't matter where you are. It might not impact you so much, but the people that sort of also makes your business work can be severely impacted by what's going on. So I just like, it's phenomenal that you're doing these kind of things, and that's the amazing thing. People that are in a position to help, when they are helping, it's really, really commendable. And I guess that goes back to your charity heart, because I know you've got a heart for charity, and I think it's just naturally who you are as well. So well done for that. What strategy have you decided on, in terms of business? I mean, have business otherwise, is there still business coming in? Is there still anything that you can continue with? I know you had some offshore project, I think, as well. So are those things on hold currently, or are you actually able to trade and do business?
So right now, yes, I'm busy with a couple of projects in Mauritius. They're also on lockdown. They're coming back online the 1st of June. I really want to travel to them, but we're gonna wait a little bit on that. So basically, what we've been doing with our clients is we've ensured that all of the construction packs. So we fast track the construction packs. Then basically, once they are back online, we will then just build and business as per normal. Same with Gaborone, that we also have another project, and we have another project coming up potentially in Zanzibar as well. So that's the plan for the current projects. But then the future for Sthetics. Now I've actually jotted down a couple of points. So the first thing that we want to do is, and actually my partner that heads the architectural side of the business came up with this, and because we live in a estate, and he said, well, people are going to be working from home more, but we're not parents, but I understand friends of mine, when I'm having a Zoom, you see it tiklangs no dream PR and skree. So you just hear and it's just noise. So I was actually thinking to myself, these common areas, the pool houses and things like that, that's only being used over weekends, let's rent them out. Let's have a WeWorks or a Spaces in the estate. If you know you're having a Zoom interview or call, just taking your laptop there and rather sitting there, and so it's a bit of a more professional environment. And much like of the estates where you pay your 150, 200 Rand a month for the gym or whatever, then they can also just pay a fee towards the internet and the other facilities that will be there. So that's our big marketing that we really want to go and see them. Then what we also have is we're approaching all of our corporate design companies for redesigning their spaces, just to incorporate social distancing within the office. So we're doing that. Then we've got a couple of innovative ideas that we also, once it's approved as well, that we want to put forward. The thing is, what we also have to understand is that not everyone has the luxury of a dining room or a study at their house. Many people, young entrepreneurs, employees, I mean, they live in a 1-bedroom open plan kitchen. So what we want to do is we want to see if we can't manufacture office pods, which are like a quarter of a parking lot size, and then you can rent them out. And then companies that have downsized an office space can now just rent these pods on a month-to-month basis, and it will still cost less than what they're currently paying per staff member per square of office rental.
Oh, that's amazing. What's jumping out for me out of this conversation is that you're really looking for where the needs are at the moment, and where are things going? Because that's sort of my next question is just, what do you think things are going to happen here? You in this, in the architectural space, but you're looking at interior design and a lot of corporate offices and that kind of stuff. I mean, what do you think is going to happen to all those spaces where companies are seeing, oh, this is actually working well for me? You know, do you think there's going to be an impact, and what do you think is that impact going to be on commercial property specifically? And then, I mean, here's the opportunity. I mean, you look at that and say, well, let's create some office pods. I like that.
Yeah.
I hope you're trademarking that.
So I think first what we need to do is take it back to the individual. So as we understand that there are two types of people, and I think Rhino is so tired of hearing this concept, but it's called internal, external locus of control. Now, if you're an individual with an internal locus of control, you wake up in the morning yourself, you start with your work, you don't need to be micromanaged in order to be productive. However, we still have people with an external locus that needs to be managed, that needs to be encouraged, that needs that personal interaction. So we have to bear in mind and say, okay, yes, some individuals can work best on their own, and then let's give them the house can work from home option, but other members can't. And there's also wonderful technology that tracks this. I mean, Teams, most of the people have been working on Teams. Teams actually tracks your productivity. So for you guys out there that aren't logging in on time and logging out on time, Teams track that. So basically what we want to do is we want to take that data from corporates, see, okay, well, 60% of your staff are able to work from home. Let's then take that budget that we would have, let's sign a rental agreement, let's give them the proper tools. I mean, a lot of people right now are sitting and working from a dining room chair. That's not ideal. Inadequate lighting, also not ideal. So we want to create an environment for them that is still productive, proper backdrops for people for Zoom interviews, proper conduct, just bearing in mind that working from home is much more difficult for women. I mean, I've had moms tell me, Izel, I want to be productive, but I've got children, I've got school, I've got cooking, I've got cleaning, I've got this. They have had an effect on them. So again, giving them a space to be as productive as possible. But when it comes to the corporate office, I do see that spaces like Regis, spaces, WeWorks will definitely increase. I do think that landlords should also adjust their contracts so that potentially what can happen is if you've got a 10-year lease with a landlord, adjust your contract so that that contract holder or leasee can sublease property within this space. I think contracts need to be adjusted like in that sense, where proper checks are being done so that in our office space we are allowing hot desking, but that hot desking booths can then be rented out to smaller SMEs, etc. and so that landlords aren't losing funding for their rental, and also the rentees are able to use that space to basically make up rent.
Yeah, well, that's some amazing tips. Yeah, from my side, Izel, just thank you very much for joining me. This like 50 minutes flew by. So thank you very much for all your insights and everything that you're sharing with us. I can speak with you for 3 days, I think. But thank you very much and well done. I just changed the screen here so people can see your beautiful backdrop when you spoke about the Zoom backdrop. So it really looks awesome. And yeah, Ida, from your side, sorry, I'm doing all the talking. Is there anything you want to say to Izel? Or ask her?
No. I just admire her for what she's doing and how she is literally taking her business above and beyond in this time. And like you previously said, not just sitting on the couch, but actually using this time effectively, productively, constructively, and planning her, not in a month or in 2 months. She's planning far ahead. 12 to 18 months, we've been working together, me and her, on email, processing things, getting administration processes rolling, ensuring everything is up to date and filed. So, well done, Muggle. I'm very, very proud of you.
And you deserve that big smile.
For everything.
Thank you so much.
Amazing. Awesome
Okay,
stuff.
thanks, guys. Thanks for having
Izel,
me.
thank you. It's a pleasure. We'll chat to you soon. Thank you.
Bye.
Okay, bye-bye. Wow, what a story. I really enjoyed that very much. So both of them are that we've spoken to, Ahmed and Izel, really 2 very different stories, 2 different situations, 2 different things that they are doing, but again, not sitting and waiting for what we need. We need to figure out, and that's what entrepreneurs do. Yesterday, I had to go to Checkers to go and get some milk. It's the one thing that doesn't last long enough in this house, and but there was a guy that stood behind me. We were standing outside waiting to go into Checkers, and he was on a phone call, and it was just, you listen to the things that he's saying to whoever he was talking to on the phone, and it's just like, I said to my wife, like, I like this guy. His whole, like, the things he was saying, the things he was thinking about, what was going on, where things are going, his positiveness, his optimism, actually, because positivity, but optimistic, he's very optimistic, there's hope. And he says, like, this is what it is. It's going to be this, it's going to be that, and we need to move forward. And we can sit back and do nothing, or we can actually, go and try and figure out. So it's very inspirational to me, even to hear these stories outside the Checkers sort of line there. So so on to our third and final guest. She's been waiting here. She was here first, and she's been waiting the longest. I'm very sorry for that. But please welcome. Oopsie, I just clicked on the wrong thing there. So please welcome Zephné Weston. Zephné is from Asanté Travel, and as I said to you before, that if you wanted to choose an industry that you really want to be challenged by during this time, then unfortunately, Zephné, you drew the short stick there. I'm so sorry to start off like that. But welcome, and thank you for still smiling and being on the show.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's a huge pleasure. Zephné, you also started your business in April last year, I think, if I'm not mistaken. You started in April. And it went very well. But can you first give us just a bit of a story about you and what is your background and how did you get to starting Asanté Travel so that we got a better idea about you?
Okay, so I've been basically working in the travel industry since 1998, so it's about 22 years. I've worked across the world, in the UK, in the USA. I've spent 12 years working in Mexico, and most of it was working for enormous tour operators, offering mainly luxury travel experiences all around the world. I learned a lot there, but I returned to South Africa in 2006 because my dream was, here I'm in other countries and I'm showing the rest of the world to these places, but they don't see Africa and they don't know Africa. So my dream was to bring Africa to the rest of the world. Well, it's still my dream and will be my dream until the day that I die. So I came back in 2006, and since then I've worked with various other larger tourism organizations in executive positions, and then I did some entrepreneurship projects before, and then decided to start Asanté Travel last year. And the reason why I wanted to do it myself is because I know my clients so well. Some of them, I've been doing their trips every single year for 12 years, where they come back to Africa and experience different areas in Africa. And then we also offer the Indian Ocean Islands. So it's a really nice combination, and something that I love. I can't imagine doing anything else.
Yeah, I remember when we met with you back in last year. We met there at Mall of Africa. It was the first time I went there. I couldn't find my car for 6 days afterwards because I didn't know where I was. But even then, I could see like you are really into this, what you are doing and the whole travel thing. So did this whole pandemic thing did everything stop abruptly, or was there a little bit of time where you could see like things are getting slower and slower and slower and then it stopped, or was it just like it was great today and tomorrow morning it was bad?
I want to say yes and no, because we kind of last year we built a really good client base up, and we did really well. Like, clients were booking vacations left, right, and center. In November last year, I went on a huge sales trip all around Mexico and the United States to get to know more clients. And the response was unbelievable. Like, pretty much every single one of the clients we saw came back with requests. So it was really, really wonderful. But a trip like that is not cheap. And especially not in your first year of business. So you pretty much put all of the funds go into that because the return of investment will come, which it has. In February, clients started contacting us and just say, we're a little bit concerned about what's happening. So we're not quite sure if we're going to confirm the booking, even though they've said, okay, yes, everything ready, please invoice, we're good to go. And then they would come back and say, so we're not exactly sure what to do. And then in March, literally everything just came to a complete stop. That first 3 weeks in March was absolutely insane. And I think that's where people realize the value of working with a tour operator or with a travel agency, because guys that did their bookings themselves, I don't know, it must have been horrible. because the travel agents were working full out, day and night, working with airlines, working with accommodation, trying to reschedule, trying to get money back. And I think a lot of people really started to see again why the tour operator and the travel agent exists and is still successful.
I think you mentioned a very valuable thing there that, I think we've gotten into a, I don't know what the right word is for this, but where we get into this thing where, it's cheaper to do it myself and it's easier and it's this and it's that, and people forget about the other value things, because when things go well, you don't always understand the value that you're getting, but when things go wrong, that's when you say, well, I'm very happy that I got someone like Zephné to help me with this.
The thing that, sorry, just to interrupt, but the thing that people don't realize is that they don't get it cheaper doing it themselves, because we get rates that is a lot less in what they would get. And that's where our commissions come from. Our commissions doesn't come from, this is the price which you would have gotten, and now we're adding our commission on top. That's not how we work. So you would either get it cheaper or maybe at the same price that you would have done it yourself, but it's a lot less work and a lot less risk. Then when after the lockdown happened, people just wanted to cancel and they wanted their money back. We've contacted a lot of the suppliers, and a lot of the suppliers really stepped up, and some of them did do refunds, which we're very grateful for. They really helped us a lot. And others said, we're not going to give a refund. However, if the client would like to rebook, we will honor this booking or this rate until December 2021, which is amazing. So we were able to go back to these clients, the ones that were happy to do it, and say, let's extend your trip to next year. You are going next year, but you're still getting exactly the same rate as what you're getting right now. There's just some variables, like park fees might go up. Airline, we don't know what's happening with the airlines and the airfares and fuel and taxes and things like that. So there will be some changes there. But overall, the accommodation suppliers has been amazing. And even some of our technology partners, like there's certain technology that we as tour operators and travel agents need to run our business successfully, and to especially the smaller companies, because you don't have a lot of people working for you, so you need the right technology partners to help you. And quite a few of them gave us like 50% discount for the next few months, and it's very helpful. So we're very, very grateful for these suppliers.
Yeah. So what is the strategy at the moment? What are you focusing on at the moment, and what are you doing currently? While we're still in this position, because we don't know how long it's going to last. I see there's a comment made by Renee saying tourism need not be the short stick if the minister would trust us to operate. So obviously there's a lot of frustration in this in your industry at the moment to say, like, but can we just operate and do things? But now you're not getting money from relief, and there's court cases, and there's all these things happening, and I always say tourism is one of the biggest industries in South Africa. It is really what keeps South Africa going, in a lot of sense, So, what have you chosen to focus on? What are you keeping yourself busy with, and what has been the result of that?
So the sad part of it is, unless we do get funding and help from the government, there's no way where we can get immediate money into the business. We can sell for next year. So we can sell for 2020, 2021 for people to travel. However, that money isn't ours until after the client has traveled. So we can't use any of that. That is why we really are relying on funding from the government. And what is really concerning is the Minister of Tourism feels strongly that travel is not going to be open until at least December 2020, and there's very, very few companies that can survive on that. What we've been doing in the meantime, and it's it's really to stay in contact with our clients, whether it's B2B clients or B2C clients. Your B2B clients are, no matter where they are in the world, they're in exactly the same position as what we are right now. So I think it is a case of being front of mind and stay in contact with them. However, don't preach, don't throw it in their faces, because they're obviously getting this from all their clients all around the world. Also, take the time to plan and to strategize. Focus on where you want to take your business. And what we are starting to do from next week is we're actually creating a training program, because there is a lot of travel agents out there that sell the entire world, but it's impossible for them to know every single destination. So Asanté Travel is putting together a training program for all of the destinations that we are selling, and we are going to open this up to our travel agents so that they can really learn the destination well enough. We'll give them selling tools of how to sell each destination, and also just explain things like, why is it better to fly to Hoedspruit than to Mpumalanga Airport? And so, I mean, these things are important, but right now that is our focus, and we need to just stay positive, because we will get through this, but it's not the easiest for the tourism industry at this stage.
Yeah, but again, here comes the story again, and we didn't coordinate any of these discussions or anything. Nobody knew what I was going to ask, really. All I had was a bit of the background of each of these of the guests, and I just sort of asked some of the questions. But I see the same story again here coming up, is that what can you do with what you've got where you are? That thing keeps on coming back, and to say, well, what I can do is I can train other people about destinations that I know very well. I can show them how to sell. I can show that we can equip them for that, and what better time to help people learn than now, because when things do come back online, if we can put it that way, then you want to be ready. You don't want to start learning then or realize that, oh, you got left behind during the lockdown, and you want to be give yourself the best chance in order to succeed. And well done on that again, to say that.
They also won't have time. Because once things start up again, it's because people are so tired. I think, especially your more mature market right now, if you're working or if you have children, it would be harder to travel right away, because you either have to work yourself and you've got to make money, or your children needs to go to school and life has to go back to normal. But I think that a good market to focus on right now is your older, your retired clientele. They've been stuck in their house for a very long time. They were not able to do anything. They couldn't even go to grocery stores in some cases. And they do have disposable income. So focus on that market, and it might be a little bit more successful. There's so many different things. I mean, we're all grabbing at straws, and we're all just trying what we can, but we have to think out of the box, and we have to just do what we can.
Definitely, you have to take action. It's I think it's really looking at where the opportunities, because I'm pretty sure there was a good while during this lockdown where you didn't know left, right, forward, backward, stand still, lie down, stand up. That's what it was like. But you do get to a point once you've gone through that rabbit in the headlights kind of situation, to say, whoa, let me see what I can do, and what are the options. Let's just stand back a little bit. But for some people that happens quickly, and other people, you got to go through the motions, and you got to realize that it's okay to go through the motions. There's nothing wrong with that, and you should. Because until you don't realize where you are, you won't be able to take that next step and say, well, okay, so this is not the road I want to go down. I want to go more this way. And that's what you're doing. So well done on that. And again, Zephné, thank you for joining us this afternoon. I really appreciate it. I see there's a lot of comments here. Obviously, there's a lot of love for the tourism industry. And I guess these are people in the tourism industry where
Thanks,
they are saying, you know, as I said, tourism, that they need to open because until December. Somebody's saying, I'm in the hospitality industry with 6 hotels that doors are now closed due to lockdown, but we will prevail. So I like that. Johan says you will not be able to fly, and that's going to kill the tourism industry if you can't fly. Yes, but you know what? Maybe we come up with other ways of doing tourism than just flying. Or maybe we go backwards in time and we start traveling by boat, although that's also not safe. But anyway, Aidan is saying we need to innovate we need to be innovative in we need to innovate, in tourism, team up with the arts, as they are in the same boat as us. And this is something beautiful that I just want to, you see a lot of artists doing these lockdown shows, some of them for free, some of them will charge for it, you know, and some of them are really just, that's what they have to do.
Yeah.
And, you know, if we can support them and we can do that, then we should, you know. I mean, I'm just thinking here now, like if you can just have something where you just share stories about different destinations and what you've experienced. I mean, if you've been in this game since 1998 and the places you've seen and the places, look, I would be very worried if you were in the industry since 1998 and you didn't travel the world. So that's great. But I think the stories you can share, I mean, that's entertaining, it's informative, it's educational in nature. You know, so I really, there's also something that you should look at, Zephné, to sort of see what one could do. And then Fabiana is saying, so proud of you, Zeph. Asanté Travel is the best boutique agency to travel. So there's a good one for you.
There's one thing that I can add, and something that I'm very grateful for, is how the tourism community is pulling together. We don't see each other as competitors right now. We're all in the same boat. We're all looking for ways on how we can move forward, how we can strategize. And this is how we are going to overcome. So if there's, for everyone in the tourism industry that's listening right now, I just want to say thank you for pulling together. And I would also like to say thank you to you, and especially Ida. Ida has been my doing all my accounting since we've started, and she has gone above and beyond to assist me, and it sometimes it feels as if she loves my company as much as I do. So if any one of you, I'm not getting paid to say this, but if any one of you is looking for somebody to outsource your accounting to, these guys are amazing. Thank you.
Awesome. I can only say yes to that. You know, amazing. So yeah, and I saw just quickly, Izel is not on the stream, but I can still see her here in the studio. So she put on a camera and she went like that. I'll put her on. Let me put it back on. There you go. So yeah, she feels the same. But great stuff. So yeah, on that note, guys, that's the end of today. Thank you very much. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you for sharing your story and your journey with us. It's been really awesome. And we're going to do more of this in the future. So please, if you've got other friends in business, tell them about the show. That's what we're trying to do, is to inspire, give information as well, and also, you know, tips and tricks, and sort of, we'll talk about accounting somewhere in the future. We're going to talk about legal things and, you know, running a business and all sorts of things, and share resources, etc. So there's a whole host of things we're going to do, but we definitely want to have more guests on the show to come and share their story with us. So if you know of someone that you think would be a great guest, please let us know. You can email Ida. I'm going to give your email address. So where is it? Here it is. Let me just quiet it here on the screen. So there you've got it. ida@accountables.co.za. Let us know if you know of anybody that will make a great guest, and we will contact them and get them on the show. But yeah, from my point of view, thank you very much, Ida. Thank you for your support with all of this and for everything you've been doing. And that's my story. Any last word?
Thank you to everybody that's always joining in and sharing, and we're creating a community, and this is what I love about this platform. So let's go, businesses. Let's show them. We will pick the economy up. We will. Yeah.
Awesome stuff. Thank you very much. I'll see you next week, Wednesday, 11 a.m. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Say.